Hi friends, we're finishing our chapter called Friends in Gooseberry Park today, and we're on page 20. It was a few years more before Kona met the little red squirrel called Stumpy. Gooseberry Park was a very large park with many trees and many more squirrels, and to Kona, of course, all of the squirrels looked alike. Kona went to the park every day with Professor Albert, and while the professor read books about snails and baboons and ants and lilies, listening to Charlie Parker on his Walkman, Kona explored the park and ignored the squirrels. And then one day as he was exploring, Kona came up upon a little red squirrel who was trying to pull a plastic toy tractor up a tree. Holding the tractor in her teeth, the little squirrel pulled it halfway up the tree, but the tractor slipped and crashed to the ground, and then she ran down to the bottom to start all over again. Kona walked over to speak to her. And there's Stumpy trying to get her toy tractor up the tree, and it keeps falling. It's so heavy. Perhaps if you pushed it, he suggested, as the squirrel began pulling at the tractor yet again. The squirrel opened her mouth. What? And the tractor crashed. Oops, said Kona, sorry. The little squirrel ran down to try once more. It's for my collection, she said to the dog. I haven't anything this big. Do you know what it's called? A tractor. I've seen them on television, Kona answered. Television? Asked the squirrel. Kona sometimes forgot the world really did have wild animals in it. He couldn't imagine anyone not knowing what a television is. Never mind, said Kona. I simply suggested that you push it. Put your paws on the back of the tractor and roll it up the tree, just like a boy would. Good idea, said the squirrel, and she pushed the toy tractor all the way up the tree trunk and into her nest. She disappeared inside and was gone for several minutes. Kona started to walk away. I'm Stumpy. The squirrel's little red head popped out of her nest just as the dog was leaving. I'm Kona, called the Labrador, happily turning back. What else do you collect? And that is how Kona met Stumpy. He visited her tree every time Professor Albert took a park bench nap, which was quite often. And from Stumpy he heard tales of life in Gooseberry Park, which he reported back to Gwendolyn, who commented on them, as most elderly animals will. Leave it to a raccoon to make a mess of things. Oh, yes, indeed, crows are quite the smart Alex. There's nothing like a young possum to warm the heart. Thank goodness for rabbits. These comments Kona took back to Stumpy, and in this way, all three became friends. It was a fine life, a life just right for babies. We'll read chapter 4 tomorrow.